Welcome to Film Retreat. Today we're diving into the 2014 movie The Maze Runner, a thrilling adventure filled with mystery, danger, and the will to survive. This is the story of a young boy who wakes up in a place he doesn't recognize, surrounded by others who've lost their memories, all trapped inside a giant, deadly maze. Let's begin. In the heart of an unknown world, a young boy named Thomas awakens in an elevator. Disoriented, confused, and terrified, he doesn't know who he is or where he's come from. All he knows is the metal lift is slowly rising, and when the doors finally open, he finds himself standing in a vast green field, the Glade. Thomas stumbles out into this strange new world, a place that's both familiar and foreign. The first faces he sees are a group of boys, the Gladers. They've been here, in this walled-off patch of land, for as long as they can remember. Among them is Albie, the leader, a calm but resolute figure who tries to maintain order. Then there's Newt, the second in command, always trying to keep things together and offer wisdom to the younger Gladers. And finally Minho, the fearless leader of the runners, the team that ventures into the maze each day in an attempt to map its ever-changing paths. It's a dangerous job, but someone has to do it. As Thomas tries to grasp his new reality, Albie explains the rules of life in the Glade. They have one simple goal: survive. The maze is full of shifting walls, deadly traps, and terrifying creatures called grievers. Every night, the giant doors to the maze close, trapping anyone still inside. The boys have learned that the only way to survive is to work together. But there's one problem. They don't know what the maze is or why they're in it. Just when things begin to settle, an unexpected event changes everything. A girl named Teresa arrives, and with her, a strange message. She's the last one. Her arrival stirs unease among the Gladers. How is it possible? No one had expected to see a girl, let alone the last one from a mysterious group. Even more unsettling is the fact that Teresa knows something that no one else does. She seems to remember more about the outside world, but it's clear that she's been through something traumatic too. As the days pass, Thomas feels an unshakable pull to figure out what's happening, to find answers to the questions no one can answer. He becomes increasingly restless, desperate to know why he's here. He senses that he's meant to be part of something bigger, something that could change everything. But in this world, curiosity can be dangerous. One night, disaster strikes. Albie and Minho are trapped in the maze after a griever attack. The Gladers have learned to stay out of the maze at night, but Thomas, driven by a force he doesn't fully understand, decides to break the rules. He risks everything, charging into the maze to help them. His courage is both reckless and remarkable, and it marks the beginning of his rise in the Gladers' eyes. Minho and Thomas return to the Glade, and the runners realize something. The maze is changing. The walls shift every day, and the paths seem endless. But there's a pattern emerging. They begin to map it, slowly piecing together the mystery. But as they venture deeper into the maze, the danger intensifies. The grievers, giant, horrifying creatures, seem to be hunting them, and the maze becomes more lethal. Despite the risks, Thomas pushes forward. He becomes a runner, joining Minho and the others in the dangerous task of mapping the maze. Every day, the maze seems to shift, its walls moving in unpredictable ways, and the grievers lurking just beyond the shadows. The closer Thomas gets to the truth, the more he feels connected to the maze itself. It's as if he's meant to solve it, to find the key to their escape. One day, Thomas and Minho discover something unexpected, a hidden control room deep within the maze. Here they find evidence of WCKD, the organization behind the maze, and they begin to realize the truth. They were never meant to escape. The maze, the grievers, the tests, it's all part of a twisted experiment. The boys in the Glade are pawns in a much larger, much darker game. With the truth in hand, the Gladers know they can no longer sit idly by. They must escape, or die trying. The stakes couldn't be higher as they hatch a bold plan to break free of the maze. But it's not just about surviving anymore. It's about fighting back against the people who put them here in the first place. With nothing left to lose, Thomas takes charge, leading the charge into the unknown. The final battle begins as the Gladers face their greatest challenge yet, the Grievers. The maze is no longer just a puzzle, it's a battleground. Thomas, with his newfound courage and leadership, fights to protect the others, battling through grievers and navigating the treacherous maze. His resolve is put to the test as he makes one final, desperate push to find the exit. After a fierce struggle, Thomas and the remaining Gladers reach the heart of the maze. They unlock the final gate, revealing the way out. But as they step into the unknown, they find a shocking truth. The world outside is no longer the world they knew. The city is in ruins, ravaged by a deadly virus. What they thought was freedom is only the beginning of another fight for survival. As the Gladers stand at the edge of the maze, looking out over the devastated world, they realize that escaping the maze was just the first step. Their journey has only just begun, and the real enemy, WCKD, is still out there, waiting to continue their twisted experiments. The Maze Runner is a thrilling, action-packed story about survival, sacrifice, and the pursuit of freedom. Thomas started out as just another lost boy in the maze, but by the end, he's a leader, a symbol of hope, and a force to be reckoned with. But in a world like this, can anyone truly escape? Only time will tell.